Want to know the secret to being cool under pressure? Joe Montana might ask with a wink. Just pretend you're playing catch in the backyard with your friends. This simple advice from one of football's greatest players shows why Joe Montana was called Joe Cool. He could make even the biggest games seem like child's play. But how did a boy from a small town become one of the best quarterbacks ever? Joseph Clifford Montana was born on June 11, 1956, in tiny New Eagle, Pennsylvania. As a kid, Joe excelled in various sports, but football was his true passion. He spent countless hours practicing in his backyard, often with his father's help, developing his natural talent for throwing and understanding the game. In high school, Joe became the star quarterback for the Ringgold Rams. His exceptional skills drew spectators from far and wide. Though also gifted in basketball, with college offers in that sport, Joe's heart belonged to football. He loved the game's excitement, teamwork, and strategic challenges. Recognizing Joe's special talent, his high school coach helped him improve continuously. This early dedication and practice laid the foundation for Joe's future success in football. When it was time to choose a college, Joe picked the University of Notre Dame. Notre Dame is famous for its football team, called the Fighting Irish. But things didn't start out easy for Joe. When he first got there, Joe was way down on the list of quarterbacks, 7th string. That means 6 other players were ahead of him to play the position. Being 7th string might make some people want to give up, but not Joe. He worked harder than ever. He studied the playbook and practiced whenever he could. Joe waited patiently for his chance to show what he could do. Finally, Joe got to play in some games. And wow, did he impress everyone? He was so good that the coaches had to let him play more. By his junior year, Joe was the starting quarterback. He led Notre Dame to win the national championship in 1977. That's like being the best college team in the whole country. Joe's most famous college moment came in a game called the Cotton Bowl in 1979. The night before the game, Joe got really sick with the flu. He had a high fever and felt awful. Many people thought he wouldn't be able to play. But Joe didn't want to let his team down. He started the game, even though he felt terrible. By halftime, Notre Dame was losing badly. Joe was so sick that he had to eat chicken soup to feel better. In the second half, something amazing happened. Joe started to feel a little better, and he led his team to an incredible comeback. Notre Dame won the game, and Joe became a hero. People still talk about the chicken soup game today. This game showed something special about Joe. He never gave up, no matter how tough things got. This attitude would help him a lot in his professional career. After college, Joe hoped to play professional football in the NFL. But on draft day, when NFL teams choose new players, Joe had to wait a long time before a team picked him. Many teams thought Joe was too small or not strong enough to be a pro quarterback. Finally, in the 3rd round of the draft, the San Francisco 49ers chose Joe. The 49ers coach Bill Walsh saw something special in Joe that other teams missed. This turned out to be one of the luckiest picks in NFL history. At first, Joe didn't get to play much for the 49ers. He spent most of his first year on the sidelines watching and learning. But Joe didn't waste this time. He studied the game, learned from the other players, and practiced hard. In his second year, Joe finally got his chance to be the starting quarterback. Once he started playing, everyone could see how amazing he was. Joe fit perfectly into Coach Walsh's style of play, called the West Coast offense. This offense needed a smart quarterback who could throw the ball accurately, and that's exactly what Joe could do. In 1981, something incredible happened that made Joe Montana famous across America. It was near the end of a very important game against the Dallas Cowboys. This game would decide which team got to go to the Super Bowl. The 49ers were losing and needed a touchdown to win. There were only seconds left in the game. Joe dropped back to throw, but Cowboys players were trying to tackle him. He scrambled around, avoiding the tacklers. Then, at the last second, Joe threw the ball high into the end zone. It looked like the ball was going to sail out of bounds. But Joe's teammate, Dwight Clark, jumped up really high and caught the ball with his fingertips. This play became known as the catch, and it's one of the most famous moments in NFL history. The catch sent the 49ers to their first Super Bowl. It also showed the world that Joe Montana was a special player who could make amazing things happen when his team needed him most. 2 weeks after the catch, Joe led the 49ers to win Super Bowl 16. He was named the most valuable player of the game. This was just the beginning of Joe's incredible Super Bowl story. Joe Montana and the 49ers became the best team of the 1980s. They won the Super Bowl 4 times with Joe as their quarterback. in 1982, 1985, 1989, and 1990. Joe was named MVP in 3 of these games. One of Joe's most famous moments came in Super Bowl. The 49ers were losing to the Cincinnati Bengals with only a few minutes left. Joe had to lead his team 92 yards down the field to score a touchdown. That's almost the whole length of the football field. As his teammates got nervous, Joe tried to keep them calm. He pointed to the crowd and said, "Hey, isn't that John Candy?" This helped his teammates relax and forget about the pressure. Then, Joe did what he did best. He led the team all the way down the field, throwing perfect passes. With just 34 seconds left in the game, Joe threw the winning touchdown pass. The 49ers won the Super Bowl, and Joe became an even bigger legend. This ability to stay calm in big moments is why people called Joe Cool. No matter how important the game was, Joe acted like he was just playing for fun in his backyard. Even great players face challenges, and Joe Montana was no exception. In 1991 to 1992, injuries sidelined him, requiring elbow surgery. During this time, Steve Young excelled as the 49ers quarterback. When Joe recovered, the team chose to keep Young and traded Montana to the Kansas City Chiefs in 1993. At 37, some thought Joe was too old to play well. However, he proved them wrong, leading the Chiefs to win their division in his first year, a feat they hadn't achieved in 22 years. Joe played 2 successful seasons with the Chiefs, showcasing his enduring talent. After 16 remarkable years in the NFL, Joe Montana retired in 1994, leaving behind an incredible legacy.
I would just like to start off by saying that I'm very honored to be standing here tonight. Back in 1979, when I first stepped onto this field, I never imagined I would be in this position tonight having my number retired.
Joe Montana's retirement capped an incredible career. 4 Super Bowl wins, 3 Super Bowl MVP awards, 8 Pro Bowl selections, numerous playoff records, and 31 fourth-quarter comebacks. In 2000, he entered the Pro Football Hall of Fame, cementing his status as one of the greatest players ever. Many consider him the best quarterback in NFL history, ranking 4th on the NFL's 2010 list of top 100 players of all time. After retiring, Joe Montana embraced a quieter life with his family. He and his wife Jennifer have 4 children, with their 2 sons playing college football. Joe enjoyed his estate in California's wine country, indulging in food, wine, and horseback riding. He also ventured into business. Though no longer playing, Joe remains beloved by fans, always kind when asked for autographs or photos, appreciating the support he received during his career.